Hello, everyone, and welcome to Boundless Accelerator Presents Toolkit Tuesday. My name is Temi Orekoya. I am the Startup Program Manager with Boundless Accelerator, and I am so excited to be hosting this call. I am also joined by Alex Miller, our Program Coordinator at Boundless Accelerator. I would also like to welcome our two friendly American Sign Language interpreters whose time today is graciously provided in kind by Asign, Liz and Jeanette. Thank you both for joining us, and thank you to Asign. Please feel free to spotlight the ASL interpreter if you need to. While I'm at it, I would also like to thank our corporate sponsors, Danby, Synergenics, and Invest in Guelph. We are very grateful for their support. Before beginning the session today, I would like to give recognition to the land that Guelph is on. We acknowledge that many others here today may be on a different territory, so we invite and encourage each of you to give recognition to the land you occupy today and every day. As we gather for today's event, we are reminded that Guelph is situated on treaty land, and that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people today. As a city, we have a responsibility for the stewardship of the land on which we live and work. Today, we acknowledge the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation of the Anishinaabeg peoples on whose traditional territory we are meeting. Today's webinar is called Amazon in 2024, What's Changed and How You Can Still Make Money, with Don Thompson, Boundless Accelerator mentor and Amazon expert. In case some of you are new to Boundless Accelerator, a quick background. Boundless Accelerator is one of 17 regional innovation centers in Ontario. And while we are located in Guelph, we serve the entire region of Southern Ontario and have one national program. This means that while most of our clients are relatively close by, we do have clients in BC all the way to Nova Scotia and all throughout Ontario. We work with our clients, supporting them throughout multiple stages of business growth, from startup to scale, with lots of programs and workshops, networking opportunities, and even a trade show called the Ontario Innovation Expo. But now, more done. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's expert presenter, Don Thompson. Don Thompson is an expert in e-commerce strategy, product management, and business development for startup and scale-up companies and brands across Canada. As the founder and CEO of Beacon Commerce, Don helps entrepreneurs navigate the opportunities and realities of the global Amazon marketplace, bringing a unique mix of expertise that spans product configuration, pricing, positioning, and promotion. Don's career includes 25 plus years of experience developing and managing new products for top performing Fortune 100 organizations, including Amazon, BlackBerry, and GE. He's also a mentor and business advisor at Canadian accelerators, including Boundless Accelerator and the Accelerator Center in Waterloo, Ontario. Connect with Don on LinkedIn and follow Beacon Commerce on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Should you have any questions for Don today, please use the Q&A feature, and we will monitor and ask your questions when the right moment appears during the presentation or at the end during the organized question and answer period. All right, over to you, Don.
Excellent. Yeah, and I just caught that. We have to change that from IG to Boundless Accelerator.
Yes.
So thanks everyone for joining. And as Temi mentioned, if there are questions, please put them into the chat. We will cover them off, hopefully through the content. But if there are any specific questions that you have that we haven't covered, please put them in the chat and we'll answer them afterwards. And if we need to have a deeper conversation about the challenges or whatnot that you're having with Amazon, we can chat with Boundless and figure out how to get a call scheduled. All right. So we're going to talk about Amazon in 2024. The market landscape has changed over the last number of years that I've been helping clients get onto Amazon. And what we want to make sure is that you're set up to make money. And you can absolutely make money on Amazon in 2024. We just have to be really smart about how much we're spending, how we're bringing our product to market, and what it means in the grander landscape of products that we're selling. Okay. So what we'll cover off is, can you actually make money? And how do you do that? How does Amazon work as a channel for the business? We sell in many channels, whether it's brick and mortar or your own Shopify store, as an example. And Amazon is just another one of those channels that we want to make sure we have to attract new customers or build loyalty with existing customers through their shipping platform. We also want to look at what is required to maintain Amazon as a channel. A lot of times when I'm talking to first-time customers and potential clients, it's where does Amazon fit in to all the other channels you're working on, and how much effort do we put behind the Amazon channel in relation to your own D2C or other brick and mortar endeavors that you have. And then looking at 2024, there's been a number of fee changes, both good and bad, that we have to talk about. And just to make you aware, by no means are you going to walk away as an expert in the fee structure, but there are some tools in here to make you aware, and then we can certainly dig deeper as necessary later. Okay. So I want to start very quickly with some statistics for Amazon. And obviously, Amazon is still the largest piece of the pie when it comes to e-commerce sales. Walmart is growing, but Amazon has a market dominance that is going to be here for a while, I would suspect. 66% of customers start their product searches on Amazon. And that's important, even if you're not going to sell on Amazon, to make sure that your brand is properly represented on Amazon. Whether it's a reseller buying from a distributor and putting it up on Amazon on your behalf, we want to make sure your brand is appropriately represented and that the reviews and customer service are handled properly so it doesn't have a negative impact on you. Most Amazon sellers are what we call bootstrappers, meaning they're going to spend less than $5,000 to get things going. And that's a very reasonable number to start up a whole new channel. There's also ongoing costs that need to be considered, but to get things started, less than 5K is certainly doable, and we could do it for less than $2,000. It depends on the amount of SKUs and complexity of what you're trying to do. Third-party sellers. So most of the people here will be considered third-party sellers, and the majority of sellers are third-party. Amazon does buy product and put it through like any other channel would, but it represents a much smaller piece than it was pre-COVID, where a lot of people started selling their products through Amazon as it was the retail environment that was available to us, certainly in Canada and other countries around the world. 89% of sellers are using Amazon fulfilled by Amazon services. And what that means is anyone who buys on Amazon will spend their $100 a year to have their Amazon Prime membership, and then they get free shipping on everything, whether it's small things that you could have gone to the store and bought, or large things that are going to show up, you get free shipping on those. And that's a key differentiator for Amazon as a channel for you. Now, why do people shop on Amazon? Definitely the fast free shipping. That's the number one thing. And so if you look at your own D2C website, you'll find an abandoned cart section that a lot of times is tied to you having to charge for shipping because you obviously want to make money through that transaction. Amazon charges fees for providing that, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the overall economic equation of what it potentially brings to you as a channel opportunity for you to sell to a lot more customers. And so the fast free shipping is the number one reason. Obviously, they have everything. A lot of people in Canada and certainly the US have Prime memberships. And so those are the top three things that we focus on. And if we really look at those types of customers to see how we can satisfy their needs, that'll go a long way to having you be successful on Amazon as a channel. Now, the number one reason to be on Amazon is because of the consumers doing research online before they buy your product. Whether or not we believe reviews are fake, aren't real, people still look at them. And they are a key point of differentiation with Amazon compared to any other e-commerce platform. If you go to walmart.com or walmart.ca, you will see reviews, but very few. And it's not something they've leaned into, but customers look at those reviews to determine if you have a good product. And so a good product is defined as 4 stars or greater. If it's under 4 stars, you've got problems. If it's 4 stars or higher, you're just fine. And so customers doing that first point of check on your product before they make a buying decision is a huge differentiation for you to have something on Amazon that allows you to build that brand. Now, 28% of shoppers, I know I'm guilty of this, will actually scan the UPC barcode in store to see if it's cheaper on Amazon. Okay. And so comparing prices, looking up discounts, seeing how the reviews are, those are all things that consumers do every day. And we want to make sure we can support that by having our products on Amazon. 30% of customers say influencer recommendations are one of the key factors in their purchasing decision. And so all the influencer marketing stuff that you see happening on TikTok and Instagram and such, those are key points of influencer recommendations that are getting people to buy a product. And so we have to have an influencer strategy as we move forward, and we can tie that to Amazon to make sure that they're joined and you're connecting anything you have going out there with your social media and what's happening with Amazon. Okay. Now on Amazon, we want to have 10% conversion rate on your page. Okay, that's the bar that we want to hit. On your website, it's 1.6. And if you're 1.6, you're average. If you're 3%, you're amazing with your D2C website. So Amazon having really highly focused customers who want to buy your product and just need to convince them why they should buy you versus any one of the other competitors, certainly in your category. And then, of course, the top reason is shipping. Okay. Everyone knows Amazon can ship product the same day most of the time. And so it's very convenient. There's no cost. I paid my $100 for my Prime membership, and now I can have access to free shipping for everything. Okay. So these are key reasons why you need to really think about Amazon. And even if you're not going to sell on Amazon, item number one is that consumer research being conducted. And so before you're going to make a purchase decision, you probably do reviews of different sites and different places to see whether or not it's a good product and it's worthy of your purchase. So we want to make sure you're set up as such. Now, can you make money on Amazon? Yes. However, we need to understand our product costs and our channel fees. When we have those two things understood and down to the penny, that allows us to see how we make money. Okay. There's a number of potential clients that I talk to that when I ask for their cost of goods, they immediately think wholesale. Remember, 80% of customers who are going through Amazon are not having Amazon buy the product, they're selling it through Amazon. So wholesale doesn't matter. We need to know your product cost of goods sold, which includes all the packaging, it includes any duties you may have paid, any shipping into your facility, packaging that goes on, etc. And then the channel fees are those things like advertising or how much Amazon charges for shipping and logistics that are going on for Amazon to be a functional channel for you. And so I'm really excited when someone sends me a spreadsheet that has all their cost of goods because it means they know their numbers, which is awesome. And so I really encourage you to make sure you have a really sharp pencil on your costs and the fee structure. And those are things that we can help with. So the cost of goods is the packaged product. If I sell Oreo cookies, this package is what that packaged product is. I sell however many cookies are in that little bag, and that's what a customer is buying. However, I have to ship the product. So whether that's shipping into your co-packer and there's some fees with that, or shipping from China if you have some components coming from overseas, also shipping into Amazon because you have to get the product into a fulfillment center for it to then be sent out to customers when they purchase. The duties are a key part that we have to pay attention to, especially as we have global supply chains. Now with food and the like, a lot of times it's being built locally and that's not a problem. But if we do have parts of our product coming from overseas, we have to account for those duties and other things, whether it's the labels or the boxes that we may be using. And then reconfiguration and stickering. So these are fees that, for example, if I tried to sell one little pack of Oreo cookies on Amazon, I would never make money. But if I sold 12 of those together in a small box, now I can make money. But my co-packer is going to want to charge me 50 cents or what have you to put those all together, sticker it, label it, tape it up, and get it ready to go. And so if we don't consider all those costs, what happens is we find out we're losing money and we find out too late. I've had some clients where they come to me and they're selling a 1-pack of Oreo cookies, a similar type of product. And when we dig into the numbers, they're actually losing $4 per product. Now, usually that's not okay. Maybe if we're doing some customer acquisition work, what have you. But the worst part is they didn't know. And so it's important that we know our fees, we know our cost of goods, and we know all these different little bits and pieces that are going to take away profitability from us. Now, I always get asked, how much can I make on Amazon? And the quick answer is 40%. Okay, 40% before ad spend. And the reason for that is there's all the fees associated with Amazon shipping your product, as well as advertising dollars that have to go in to the system to make people see your product. So let's go through. The shipping costs into Amazon. If we can do a pallet, that's great. If we have to do small parcel, that's fine. What I recommend is that we are getting quotes across Canada because Amazon has fulfillment centers from coast to coast. Most new sellers in Canada are going to go to Brampton, right around Toronto. And the reason for that is I think there's 7, fulfillment centers in that area. And that means the bulk of it's going to be there. And with Toronto Pearson Airport, it can move pretty quickly. But if you're getting a bunch of orders out in British Columbia, Amazon will say, send your next shipment out to BC or send it out to Ottawa. And we need to make sure we know some of those different costs associated with shipping so we can account for that in our profitability analysis. The sellout referral fee, when you sell a product on Amazon, typical is 15%. There are some differences and whatnot that we can talk about, but you have to account for 15% of the sale price that customers paid. So if you have a product for $30 it's $4.50 in referral fee. If you sold that product for $20 on sale, then it's 15% of 20. Okay. So all that has to be rolled into your profitability analysis when you're looking at regular pricing versus discount pricing that you may be doing to support different activities that are going on in the channel. Now, the Fulfilled by Amazon fees are charged by the size, XYZ, and the mass of your product. We have to look at the dimensional weight as a function here. Meaning, if you check out dimensional weight on FedEx or any of those sites, if I'm selling a big box of feathers, we get charged based upon the size it takes up rather than the actual mass of the product. But if I'm selling a candle, then the mass of that product is going to be what we're selling and what we're getting charged. Okay, so the FBA fees, super important, being accurate with the XYZ, the mass, to make sure we know how much they're going to charge. And then the advertising costs, what I tell people is to budget 15 to 20% and of the MSRP. So if I have a $30 product, 20% is $6. That's what it would cost in advertising per product. It depends on the category. It depends on how aggressive you want to be with your ad strategy. I have plenty of clients where we have a 5% advertising cost, and it's just based upon their profitability. Okay, but if we're budgeting, I look at 15 to 20% as a good number to see how close are we and or how aggressive can we be with this channel. Okay. There's also an account fee. Amazon charges $30 per month to qualify for free Prime shipping, and it's well worth that expense. But every month, there's a $30 fee that you're going to pay. Highly, highly recommended and worth it. Okay. Now, what's changed for 2024? There's an inbound placement fee that when Amazon wants you to ship to Calgary and to Ottawa, you can force the system to ship it all to one location. But Amazon is going to charge you roughly 30 cents per unit to do so. It's pretty expensive, okay? And depending on your category, you may not be able to afford it because it can get quite expensive. But to avoid that, we want to send smaller shipments more often. So if we can do small parcel to send 20 to Calgary and 20 to Ottawa, that's going to allow us to start to load the system up more efficiently so that they can ship to customers in their local regions. Rather than having to put it on an overnight flight from Ottawa to Calgary, they can use the inventory in Calgary to ship to those customers. So making sure we have these smaller shipments that are constantly going, and we want to look at whether every week we're going to be sending a small shipment. Sometimes, based on our product category, we have to send a pallet, and we do that monthly perhaps, but just realizing that there may be some fees that we have to address and include as part of your profitability analysis. Okay. And then the other one is that Amazon has this constant tension of trying to get next day shipping to customers. What that means is they have to open up inventory availability so that you can put more product into the system. But then they don't want to be storing your product. They want to ship your product. So there's always this tension between the two systems of overnight next day delivery and having too much inventory that's going to sit there. And so you have to monitor your aged inventory status to make sure you don't have too much there. And the general rule of thumb is don't use Amazon as a warehouse. It is a fulfillment center. You need to have a warehouse that stores thousands of your product, and then Amazon has 100 of your product to make sure that you can get to customers. Okay. There's sell-through tools. There's lots of ways to monitor this. But at the end of the day, make sure you're doing appropriate forecasting and don't think of Amazon as a warehouse. It's a fulfillment center. Now, I talked about the FBA fees. The Fulfilled by Amazon fees are going up. Now, it may not be the end of the world. There are some categories where it's actually okay. However, on average, it's going to be roughly 20 cents per unit. Now, over the last few years, fees have gone up like inflation with fuel surcharges and the like. And so we just have to make sure that if the fee is going to have a real negative impact on your profitability, now may be the time to raise your price. Everything else is going up. There's an opportunity. Or certainly to look at other elements of your channel where you can bring costs down. It may be buying more units from your co-packer. It may be getting more stickers from overseas instead of a local supplier. I don't know. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that we've accounted for these additional fees as part of your ship out cost structure. And we look at it for your profitability overall for your business. Okay. Now, there is an opportunity for products that are under $11 Canadian that'll have a lower Fulfilled by Amazon rate. Okay. It's definitely difficult. You have to be very sharp with your profitability numbers and realizing that we may not be able to afford to advertise or be as aggressive with our advertising for a product that is that inexpensive. But it is a potential opportunity to offer a try me size of your product that then allows you to get new customers to then buy larger formats, bulk formats, and the like through the Amazon channel. So looking at the profitability of this under $11 price tier may be an opportunity for you in February where it wasn't before. Okay. Additionally, and I'm not sure if some people have seen this as well with their own Amazon orders, sometimes the product doesn't come in an Amazon box. It just comes with a sticker attached on it. And so Amazon has been trialing this ships in product packaging program that allows them to be more environmentally friendly, but also to reduce their own costs on boxes and various what's called dunnage in the box. That's the bubble wrap that they may have in there. And so we can get those products approved for the program, and you can save 5 cents to $1.70 almost on that shipping out cost. Now, it is very important that you certify that your product is actually going to survive the UPS person showing up and bringing it to someone's doorstep without the Amazon box around it. So it's important to have some kind of tests done, and there are various certification agencies that you can use. But if there's questions about it, please reach out and we'll try to help. I've included here some of the packaging that is allowed as part of that. And there are some certainly clients that I have that would be perfectly great with the enclosed zipper package for their units. But for your product, it may not be appropriate. And so saving 5 cents to then have a customer with a broken package is definitely not a good experience. And so focus on having it certified and validate that it will survive that customer exchange from Amazon to your customer. Now, I try to avoid clothing for the most part on Amazon because it is one of the highest returned categories that Amazon has. Now, taking a look at any of your own buying behaviors, I know I've been guilty of buying the large and the extra large version of the same thing, knowing I'm going to return one of them, and your customers are probably the same. So we have to make sure that we have our return costs as part of our overall economic equation. But additional, Amazon is going to be charging the dimensional weight because again, your t-shirt, your dress, pair of pants don't weigh that much in comparison to the amount of space they take up in the truck. So I've included the dim weight calculation. You can look this up. FedEx has a calculator on their website, et cetera. And it'll allow you to calculate how much mass the product is going to be charged at. And you may be surprised, I know I have been, where I had a product that I thought would just go for the 700-gram space, but then I run the dim calc and it's 2.2 kilograms. And so making sure you have this as part of the profitability analysis is a key important part to make sure you're driving profitability in 2024. Now, I talked about the tension that Amazon has when it comes to having too much inventory or not enough inventory and trying to get that one-day prime shipping to customers. So Amazon is introducing a new low inventory fee because if all your inventory is in Brampton and they have to ship it out to British Columbia, that's a high expense for Amazon. And so if you don't have enough inventory relative to the trailing 4 weeks forecast, they're going to charge you an additional fulfilled by Amazon fee on a shipment. So as an example, the envelope up to 500 grams, if you don't have enough of that product in your fulfillment centers, they're going to charge you an extra $1.21 on that fee. So it can be a significant part, especially if you're selling products kind of sub $30. But it's important to know this because you always have this tension between inventory in Amazon, spread across the network, but also other sales channels that you may have. I know there's plenty of customers that I've worked with where they have a challenge on generally keeping enough inventory in stock due to cash flow. So they have a big order that comes in from Whole Foods, as an example. And what happens is they say, well, I need to ship that order to Whole Foods because that's an important channel for me. And then we go too low on the Amazon order. And then we start seeing fees pop through. So we have to make sure we have a really good forecast and we have enough inventory planned to serve the channel. And it's going to become a lot more difficult come April to make sure that that's there because in May, if you haven't kept your inventory at that 4-week level, they're going to start charging you more. And so for us, I know we're going through all of our accounts to make sure that we are still going to be profitable with the new fee changes, but also accounting for what inventory level is required in the system to allow us to still maintain that 2-day prime service that Amazon is so well known for. So if you are a new seller in the first 365 days, they give you a grace period, okay? And so you're still figuring out the effectiveness of the channel. You're still figuring out the profitability for you as well as the volume. And so in that first year, you have a little bit of flexibility. But 1 year plus a day, they're going to start really driving this home. Because again, if you think about, I place an order right now from Amazon, it may come from Brampton, but it also may come from Calgary. And that's just based upon how much inventory that particular seller had in the network. Okay. So forecasting, profitability, it's all these boring tools and spreadsheets, unfortunately, for you to be successful on Amazon. Obviously, creativity and how we present ourselves are very important for our success. But for you to make profit, you need to make sure that you're looking at the boring numbers that are either going to make this a channel that really works well for you or is more of a marketing channel so you can control your brand. Or if you haven't paid attention to the numbers, you may just be losing a ton of money and not even realize it until it's too late. Okay. So why Amazon in general? Needs brands, okay? They need brands just as much as we need Amazon. So what I mean by brands is any brand of all sizes that you have gotten a trademark for. They want to be known to be a place where you can buy everything you want from reputable brands that people trust. So having your brand trademarked and registered with Amazon is going to open up a lot of additional features that you didn't have before. Brand content, a storefront, better advertising placement. These are all things they offer for registered brands and highly recommend you go get that. Amazon has something called the IP Accelerator, which is a service that they have pre-vetted a number of legal firms that do trademark work. And for roughly $1,000, you can have a legal firm do the trademark for you. If there's complexities or coexistence agreements with other people for the trademark, it may cost more. But if there's any complexities, I always recommend talk to a lawyer and understand how this will impact you because it has bigger implications than just Amazon. There are also do-it-yourself platforms that you can do a trademark on. And I use Haloo.co, and then I register it myself with Industry Canada. And it costs me roughly $500 to do a trademark, and it takes about 30 minutes. Okay. But for anything that has any kind of uncertainty, talk to a lawyer, the IP Accelerator. Amazon doesn't take a cut. All they've done is they've pre-vetted around a dozen legal firms, and I've probably used them all over the years. They all equally good. So the trademark, big important thing, and there's a number of smaller clients that may not have trademarked their brand yet. Highly recommend you do that regardless if you're going to sell on Amazon, because if you don't, somebody could do it on your behalf and it just causes headaches that you don't need. Now, when we are trademarked, we have access to include rich content. This is one from a number of years ago, Abakichi, wonderful sauce out of Hamilton. And this allows us to tell the story about what they're doing, why they're doing it. And in food, it's your classic, money shot here of how gorgeous it is, right? And that's the thing with Amazon. If we have the trademark, we can now get things showing to customers on how to use this, right? We can show video content, right? We can use some of the influencer videos and have all these smiling people engaging with your product to try to build trust. So utilizing the branded benefits is important, as important today as it was before. And with so much rich content out there, Amazon is definitely leaning into the branded benefits of the brand registry program to use that content on its platform. Okay. Now, when it comes to launching your product, we said, $5,000, depending on the number of SKUs and the size of the assortment. But $5,000 to launch on Amazon in the channel is a good number to use. But we also have to think about other costs that are associated with this. So when you're launching on Amazon as a platform, it is like any other sales channel. You have to have awareness that you're actually on the platform. And that could be as simple as an Instagram post to show that you're on Amazon, to let your followers know that you're there. That's base camp, okay? You think about it now and say, I now have national distribution of my product by having my product on Amazon. So it's no longer a local store. but it's across the entire country. And if we do it right in Canada, our next strategy is down to the States, because we can take all the goodness that we've generated in Canada, all the reviews, all the excited customers who've experienced our product, and now bring that down to Canada, or down to the US, sorry. What that means, though, is we have to invest in Amazon Canada as a channel. If the channel is just a marketing channel for you, that is totally fine. You get it set up properly, and you put it on autopilot with a very simple ad maybe going for your brand, and you move on with your day because you're focused on other brick and mortar channels or other digital channels and the like. It doesn't mean you can avoid it and not pay attention to it over time, but ultimately, the big question here is, what is Amazon going to be for you? We want to make sure your products are well represented. We want to make sure that distributors haven't just sold to anyone who then put the product up on Amazon and it's got old packaging, or they haven't served the customer very well and they have negative reviews for it. Heck, maybe it's expired product that they got at a discount from 3 other resellers down the road. And now your customer's having a negative experience with you as a brand. So making sure that you are on Amazon to at least protect your brand reputation, because your product will show up on Amazon, is an important part of managing the overall ecosystem of the sales channels. Now, what's next? So when we look at 2024, we want to make sure, like any other time, that we are differentiating our product from the competition. What is that unique thing that we're offering? We're solving a problem in a way that somebody else is not. Okay. How do we differentiate ourselves from the competition, whether it's on the value that we provide, the wholeness of the ingredients, anything that we can come up with? Working with someone to optimize your listings and titles and bullet points, those are things that are important if you want to show up in organic search. And there's a number of keywords, and there's things that we certainly do with the tools that we have to see what are the things that people are searching for, to make sure you show up for those things as well. As we go into 2024 here, getting that trademark, there's a number of people that I talk to where they're always bashful because they said, no, I haven't done my trademark yet. Get the trademark. If you're serious about your brand and you want to protect your brand, it's like buying the URL domain for the website, okay? Invest in the trademark, protect yourself. And then the marketing and promotion of your product, both on and off platform, is really important. So when Amazon is done appropriately as part of a multi-channel strategy, you have your brick and mortar installations, you have your own D2C, and you have Amazon. Now, making sure that people know that you're in those channels is a big part of it. But if somebody goes to a Goodness Me, for example, and buys your product there, well, they may not want to go back to Goodness Me to buy it again, or they ran out sooner than they thought. And so they want to check it on Amazon, and they'll pay for it. And they'll buy it through Amazon, it'll show up at their door, and then maybe they'll get subscribe and save. And then the flywheel starts. So you get national distribution with Amazon out of the gate. I tell people, if I have 100 of your product, we're national. I don't need 10,000. I need 100, and we could be national with your product. Okay. But when I say be ready to spend real ad dollars to compete, it is an increasingly crowded and competitive landscape. There's more and more people selling on Amazon. There's lots of big brands that are coming into Amazon. And Canada, people are realizing, is just a smaller US in terms of buying behaviors and the like for the most part. And so the strategy of Canada to the US is something that I use all the time because it allows us to do it with less ad dollars to start and then drive that into the States where the market is 10 to 20 times the size. So when we think about Amazon in 2024, it dovetails into everything else you're doing. It supports a multi-generational product plan and channel strategy, which is allowing you to sell in brick and mortar, your own Shopify, and Amazon, and they all support each other if done right. Okay. So that's the synopsis for Amazon. There's been a number of questions that have come in, and I'm just going through them there. I know, Temi, there were a few just beforehand as well that have been submitted, correct?
Yes, that is correct. I'll hand over to Alex
Okay.
to support the Q&A.
Don, did you want me to start with the few we had from before, or?
Well, I've got a couple here that I can go through first, and then we'll get the ones before as well.
Perfect.
So the first one here is the DIM calculation a per unit return fee that should be calculated into each product cost of good? So it's not for the return fee, Ashley. It's actually for the ship out cost. So it's part of the FBA fee. So if I have a product like a puzzle that is XYZ and weighs a certain amount, we have to just validate that the puzzle isn't so light but takes up so much room such that the DIM calculation is more mass. So I have the calculation in the presentation, and it will be made available, and the recording will also be made available up on the YouTube site as well. But that'll allow us to make sure that your pricing is set properly to account for how Amazon's going to charge you that fee. Okay. Trademark. Okay, so I'm not a lawyer, nor have I played one in a movie. I filed in Canada in 2020 for a trademark and was told they are 7 years out and won't get a reply until 2027. Is there a way to expedite? So, great question. Amazon knows that's a problem, and so they will accept a pending trademark application as good enough. So as long as we have it filed with the Government of Canada, then we can use that number to submit for brand registry and all the benefits there that come with that. Okay. Next, how can we simply analyze, identify, and close Amazon efficiency gaps? So we have to know a bit more about what the efficiency gaps and things that you're struggling with there. But certainly, if you have some specific ones, maybe send us a note, and I can take a look and see what we may be able to do. Okay. Now, registering a trademark in the U.S. is much faster, correct? And Amazon will accept a trademark from any jurisdiction. They don't necessarily care. What you want to make sure is that you have, because Amazon's not going to protect you from that anything that happens with your trademark, but you want to make sure that you have the trademark pending number. For the US, to register a trademark, I believe you have to have a lawyer that's in the US. So if you're a Canadian citizen and whatnot, I think there's some challenges there, but it's absolutely, it is faster for certain. Okay. And then how am I budgeting in the new low inventory level fee for your product? So what I'm doing right now, Jennifer, is I'm checking how much profitability we have left after the ads are running and all the fee changes to see what I'm left to play with. Once we have that data, and we're just in the process of doing this now with clients, then seeing how much inventory should I have based upon the seasonality of our product. Okay, so that's definitely something that we're going through to verify that we have the budget at least. Okay, and then from a profitability perspective, what do I aim for Amazon? I tell people after the fees and everything, 20%. Okay, so 20% of your MSRP is what I would expect you to have at the end, and realizing it takes time. So whenever we're launching a new channel, if I'm launching into a brick and mortar channel, I have to most likely hire a broker. And that broker is going to cost a certain amount of money. And for the first 3 months, you have no sales coming from that broker. Okay. Then when you bring it all through, you fed the system and you started to prime it up, and it allows you to make sales. So the 20% when you look at, if you're selling a $30 product, you're making roughly $6 per unit on that product. So that's the 20% is based upon the MSRP down, not your cost up, okay? And I would definitely take a look at profitability in other channels when you're selling wholesale to a distributor who then takes 27 points, who then sells to a retailer who needs at least 35 points, plus you may be paying for a broker for $1,500 a month to facilitate that whole exchange. And so when you look at it at the top line P&L, just double check the 20%, right? And definitely Shopify, you're going to get all the margin, but you have to pay for the eyeballs where Amazon comes with eyeballs. And so 100%, I have clients where we have a very strong Shopify piece, and we use that as often as possible because you're going to make 50 points, 70 points of margin. But the Amazon side of things is they bring you eyeballs and they also ship instantaneously. So there's pros and cons. And I'm happy to go through any specific examples or product opportunities there. Okay. And then if Amazon shouldn't be used as a warehouse, what are your thoughts on whether or not to ship directly from China to an Amazon warehouse versus my house or a 3PL? Okay. So Amazon, we just need to take a look at the size of the shipment coming from Asia into Amazon and what the use up time will be. If your product is brand new to the platform, you have 365 days to figure things out. Okay, so it may not be too bad to start. And then if it was too high, we could remove some of the inventory. Okay, but having a 3PL has an additional cost associated with it: storage fees, pallet fees, pick fees, etc., that we have to take a look at. Okay, so I think we have to look across the spectrum to see, out of the gate, when you launch your product, do you ship it direct into the fulfillment center, or do you ship it to your house, or do you ship it to a 3PL? And we just look at those three options to see what makes the most sense today, because what makes sense today may change in the future based upon the success and scale that you have. Okay. Okay. Then, are there any good feed apps to share your Shopify products to Amazon? So all the apps that I have seen that go from Shopify to a direct listing on Amazon are not good, mainly because they're not advertised. Not advertised, sorry, my bad. They're not optimized for Amazon and the keywords that are needed. So it's a simple way to get them pulled over with your SKUs that you're using, but they still need to be kind of upgraded to Amazon to be seen. Okay, and certainly take a look at that. Now, and Heather, thanks for the question. So the investing in reviews. So from a review perspective, there are very strong terms of service around getting reviews. So there used to be review farms overseas where you would just pay people to write reviews and it would cost 10 cents per review. And it was all very nefarious. Amazon has something called the Vine program. And the Vine program, V-I-N-E, is part of a brand registered feature, which allows registered brands to pay for reviews through giving free product. But it's all handled through Amazon. You ship product through Fulfilled by Amazon. So you've paid for the product, you pay for the shipping cost, and then you're going to get a review. You have no control over whether that review is a 1-star, a 3-star, or a 5-star, but you're going to get a review. So we want to make sure you have a good product. What I look at from other investments in reviews is if you've built your brand, if Amazon is not your first channel, then we can actually use our social media where we may have 300 or 3,000 or 30,000 followers and go, if I could get 10% of those people to go to Amazon, buy that product, and then come back and leave a review, that's a significant number of reviews that I can get just from my existing people. And so what we want to use is discount codes. You can discount up to 40%, 40. That allows you to have your followers on social buy on Amazon. If you go over 40%, it gets a little bit dicey because Amazon says the price is too low, it's not a great review, so they don't verify it. Okay, so use 40% as your upper threshold. But looking at that from a marketing strategy, yes, you may not make money on those units. If you break even, fantastic. But we're leveraging people who follow us, who already know us, who like our brand, and are willing to now buy it on Amazon and tell the world about how great it is. And so it's a good investment that allows us to talk to customers who may not know our brand through that tool. So those are the investing that what I mean in reviews. I do not mean going to some service to buy reviews, etc. Okay. Okay, sorry if I missed it, but is the target 20% Amazon margin based off and assuming starting D2C margin profile is pretty much all the cost? No. So the 20%, what I use it to simplify it there, Jonah, the 20% margin is really the margin dollars. And if I'm selling a $30 product, you should be pocketing $6 when all is said and done. So that's how I talk about it for the ease of just the dollars rather than the percentage. Okay. And then how do you confirm that they actually leave a review? Always a challenge. Amazon owns the customer and doesn't show as much as they want. But I think the confirmation of review is something where, end of the day, you're not going to get everyone to leave that review. You've given some marketing dollars out there through discount codes, and we want to make sure that we're seeing that number of reviews increase. Other than a very manual process of having them, put it on there and like send you a picture of it and you verify it, that's usually not worth the effort. Okay. Then 2 last questions from Doroto. I have, how do you get Amazon to remove bad product reviews? Very difficult. We should talk if you have some of those because it's next to impossible to get them removed, even if the customer used your product incorrectly, unfortunately. And then is there a program for celebrity endorsements on Amazon? So need to know more about the question. Happy to chat afterwards, but certainly you will see on some listings, Jennifer Aniston, I think is tied with Organica, I think, and you see, various celebrities that are tied to products. And there are some services that you can buy into for that are, kind of outside the scope of this, but, certainly celebrity endorsements are going to help. It just depends if you can afford a Kardashian or two. Okay. Yeah, and then definitely be very careful about reaching out to Amazon or reaching out to customers. You have to do it through their seller portal, and there's lots of rules around that if you have questions, reach out. But at the end of the day, remember, Amazon owns the customer, not you. You own the product that they bought, but they own the customer, and you need to kind of respect that relationship, where things can go bad pretty quick. Okay. And you're not able to reply to reviews publicly, unfortunately. Amazon took that away in their infinite wisdom, unfortunately. Okay. So I think, Temi, we're out of time.
Yeah, wow, fantastic session, Don. Thank you so much. I love the engagement and questions. Thank you, everyone. So just to quickly round off, if anyone on the call today wants to connect with Don after this, please contact Alex or me for an introduction, and we're happy to walk you through the different options. I've popped our emails in the chat.
Right.
Before you all disappear, I've also posted a feedback form link in the chat. Please click on it and share your thoughts with us on the session and on the Toolkit Tuesday series in general. If there's a topic you'd like us to present on, please let us know. Feel free to also follow us on social media, tweet, post about your experience with us. Again, a sincere thank you to Dawn, to our Assign interpreters, Liz and Jeanette, to our sponsors, to Alex, and to all of you. Thanks so much for being here today. Have a great afternoon and come back again soon. Bye.
Thank you all.